monster sled land speed record, Clark W. Griswold Jr.
Later, dudes. Let her rip, Hank Penn.
Hello, and welcome back. We're here to talk about another film. The brothers are back and united once again.
I thought you were going to say The Big Lebowskis.
No, that's a movie I wouldn't mind looking at, but it's not too far from seguing. Because tonight we watched a movie called The Giver, a sci-fi romp starring Jeff Bridges.
And a bunch of guys I never heard of.
Yeah, a bunch of young, pretty people. Meryl Streep's in there too.
Yep.
It had this semblance of it that was at times classic, but it had such a good visual style that it freshened up an old topic.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I wrote off a long time ago.
I'd never heard of it.
Well, yeah,
I couldn't write it off because I didn't know what it was.
See, in the last few years, it's been all about the Mockingjay movies, Divergent, and this is one that I never really heard of, The Giver. I don't know if it's actually the least popular of the three.
I don't remember hearing any buzz for it.
No.
So either A, it wasn't marketable to a mass audience.
Well, it was marketable to an audience, just we're not the target audience.
No.
We're about 15, 20 years past our... past the target right there.
Yeah, it really feels like it lives in that comfort zone where it's like, I don't want to say it negatively, but it's like your first sci-fi story about a controlling society and being a cog in the wheel, a very, very specific cog in the wheel. And as a science fiction story, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I was a little harsh, and maybe I'm a little harsh on a lot of things, but... I just saw this. Oh, this is for young people. Change the world, and
Yeah, one person can make a difference.
One person can make a difference, and I thought, well, that's not really for me, but it really is a classic sci-fi tale, kind of like Brave New World.
Yeah,
or
Brave New World.
1984, or Watermelon Sugar, stuff like that, or maybe even Fahrenheit 451, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, that's pretty darn close now that I think about it.
Well, yeah, essentially, instead of taking away books and whatnot, it's taking away emotions and perspective on how global you can be as a human being.
Yeah, this movie's about these people that made a society out on some plateau in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they got a good life.
It was after a collapse of some sort.
Something like that.
There was too much war and everything was going to hell, so they decided to set apart communities.
And, they've pretty much neutered everything about life as we know it. These people don't even really know what love or snow or every elephant is. I don't know what elephant is,
Yeah, every part of their existence is just so heavily controlled.
It's pretty mandated, yeah.
Like, they have climate control, so they don't know what snow is.
Yeah.
Because snow, they were saying in the movie, that snow means that farmers can't farm all year round. There's famine and then people die. Even down to their personal choices, they live by a credo sort of thing.
Yeah. They've all bought into, I don't really want to call it a lie, but they bought into it, whatever it is.
Voluntary drugging, I found that's a very hot topic at this point, especially you live in an era with people with what's termed learning disorders and such, and then you just drug the hell out of the kids so they can function normally. Everyone in this city is doing it voluntarily, just so the city runs smooth.
You just hit the button on the way out, and
you just on the way out. You get your cologne on, and you put your pocket watch in, and pocket watch. Then you put your wrist, and you get injected with your daily dose of drugs and.
And you go to your assigned job, and you do that until you reach a certain age, and you're sent elsewhere.
Retirement.
You're released.
Released to elsewhere. and it's retirement, and they always talk highly of the elders, and that there's always a place for elders.
Released, it's supposedly this is, I don't know if they would consider it an afterlife, but basically they kill you.
Yeah.
And probably push your body down the mountain slope or something like that,
Well, yeah, that's the beauty of living on a plateau is you just kind of push people off the edge, maybe.
There's like a mound of bones at the bottom of this thing,
It's the elephant graveyard. Go there, Simba. No, so this society's been working well, and the concept that hooked me is I was just like, it's just another story. And then Al tells me about this character called the Receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they are acting as the barometer of wisdom, knowledge, and consequence to decisions made by the elders. Because this person is implanted with memories of like tragedies and
human history.
Yeah, human history. Basically, a one-man encyclopedia.
Basically, these guys are they have all the memories that were expunged from the general populace, and they're used as consultants to help decision making when as needed.
Yeah,
it's like, well,
this hasn't come up before. It hasn't come up for a long time.
Yeah.
So when these things happen, they trust this one person to just lay out the facts of what happened and how you can avert things.
Yeah,
it's an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the Foundation. Actually,
I was starting to get notes of that just sitting there. I was like, boy, with a little bit more of a lot of things, you could turn this into the Foundation pretty easily. And I could see where a movie like that would work now. I was always kind of thinking, how can you do this movie without it seeming so like David Fincher, art house stuff? Because it could go that way very easily, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. This movie it comes from a fairly serious pedigree. A lot of big stories, a lot of big ideas in here.
Yeah, and if this is the way that people would try to tell a story like this to somebody that maybe doesn't have as big a background in sci-fi, I think it's a great place to start.
It's a good point as any.
Oh yeah, I mean, with sci-fi in the state it is nowadays, it's everywhere. There's TV shows about it. It's in your face all the time, but you get the sense that what you're getting isn't good. Like, you think of the good stuff that's happened in sci-fi on TV. It's like Firefly, Battlestar Galactica, the new one. The old one I've never really seen, so I can't judge.
Dr. What?
Dr. What? Dr. Y.
Doctor. Yeah.
But, when you're confronted with so much stuff on a daily basis, you really have to get a larger sifter to go through things. And this is a film that I'm glad didn't escape. Like, I was able to enjoy it. It was a good movie. I liked it. It's a heavy recommend for me because it's a good foundation block.
Yeah, it asks a pretty big question. The nature of man. Is it basically good or basically evil? Where do you stand on, things like, are you for society, what you're trying to do, what the goal is, or do you side with the nature of the human being, Because that's what they did in this movie, in this community. Our dad would say they took everything that was human about us out of us.
Yeah, basically they just... They're a living ideal, and when things are ideal, it makes you question: is the ideal really what you wanted? And it's a human question of: are we really stretching for the right top end goals? Like, you want everyone to be peaceful. Everyone wants that. There's no special people.
Yeah, everyone's
enough. Racially and religiously equal. Yeah,
and they do have enough in this.
Yeah,
no one's starving. No one's
starving. Everyone's got clean clothes. They got medicine. The expense of that is the humanity of it all, and that's a question that a lot of people would ask: is it worth it? It's hard to say no to this kind of eventuality because it's so clean.
It's like that in Star Trek.
It is.
The Next Generation.
I think there's a lot more questions that need to be asked of Star Trek on how did it get there. Like, when you look at Star Trek, basically World War III happens. Kind of the second Dark Age. There's not a whole lot of information.
Which happened in the 90s.
Yeah, the Phoenix launches and the Vulcans show up, everything's fine. You don't hear about the in between steps.
No, you hear Archer and then Kirk.
Yeah,
and then fairly shortly after that, Next Gen.
Mm-hmm. So, the connecting the dots is something that very, very few older franchises really do. They leave it up to the viewer's imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, I think this is a film that probably won't get a sequel.
Yeah.
But I think it ties it up well enough where it lets the viewer continue the story.
Mm-hmm.
And, extremely, extremely charming ending. I really like the ending to this.
Yeah.
But won't spoil that. But
we practically spoiled the whole movie right now.
Yeah. Well, I think there's good imagery and such. Jeff Bridges presents memories in a way that is almost dangerous. He's almost scared of them.
He's a scary man to a lot of people.
He's a scary man because, boy, is he so weird for being human.
He's allowed to lie.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing.
How do you enforce that rule on a populace? You can't lie, except for that guy.
Yeah, the character of the receiver.
And the giver and the receiver.
Yeah, the giver and the receiver.
They don't have to tell the truth.
They don't have to tell the truth. All the rules that this society goes by, they don't follow any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Except for taking the drugs. That's the only thing.
Mm-hmm. Even then,
they skirted around that pretty good.
Dodged that fairly well.
But yeah, it's very biblical in a lot of ways too. You look at the story; it's very biting from the forbidden fruit sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's reverse Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm. And well, the apple does play a large part.
The apple of knowledge.
The apple of knowledge. The salmon of knowledge.
The salmon of knowledge. The sandwich.
That's from
of
another
knowledge.
one that's like the Wicker Man or something like that. This is the salmon of knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, I forgot about that. When you say Wicker Man, it makes me think of the Nick Cage one, and then, oh no, that doesn't make sense because that was all about the bees.
The bees. These are the bees of knowledge.
The bees of knowledge.
That terrify the hell out of you.
No, there's a lot of good allegories here, and it's very easy to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And right off the bat, I think this is a film for everyone. You can find a lot in this, no matter what your creed or stance. Because
you're never too old for this.
No, when you have a blank slate of a society, you can look at it and pull out what you want,
mm-hmm.
what you would like to see as change.
Now, where do you personally stand? On what side do you stand on?
Gosh, as odd as it sounds, like I consider myself an artistic person.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy a lot of the things that are considered outlawed in this world, but could I do without them? I think so. I like a simple life.
Yeah.
And,
personally, me, I was always, even as a toddler, on the side of the law. You've seen that picture of me when I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Big tin star badge.
Big tin sheriff badge on my coveralls, and I'm just happy.
Yeah.
And I went everywhere with that on.
Yeah, it wasn't so much like, no matter what he's doing, he's always got that sheriff's badge on. That was crazy.
Well, you look at some of these other sci-fi things that do the whole personal freedoms versus the rules of society. And let's say, look at Firefly.
Mm.
Okay, Mal has a chip on his shoulder about the Alliance. You can't tell people what to do. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you can't, but who's going to tell people what to do on the outer rims where he is? The crime bosses.
Yeah, the crime lords. And
that's
all the
who's
guys
going to tell you what to do.
Human traffickers. And if you cross them, you don't play by their rules, you're getting the worst end of it.
Yeah, so it becomes a question of, to me, what would you rather be at the mercy of? The government or the guy next door with the gun? Because I don't own any weapons.
Yeah, no kidding. And not only that, even if you win that one fight to get out,
mm-hmm.
geez, either you're with the crime lords and you cross the crime lords and try to escape. They're going to hunt you down and kill you hard style, make an example out of you.
Mm-hmm.
The well-run, well-oiled machine might just let you sit there.
Yeah.
Feed you 3 meals a day.
Yeah, it might.
Better chance at it. But no, when it comes to what's the upside and the downside? The downsides are much less easy to understand on the side of order.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to side with it, kind of.
In a way, I agree. Now, here's the thing about those kind of rules and those kind of societies is it seems decent on the surface, but, you know, then there's all those ways to say, well, these rules are total crap.
Pull back the curtain, and there's an ugly side.
Yeah, there's an ugly side. Well, that just means to me that those were the wrong rules, and I think there are right rules.
The one thing that I'll always kind of think of when it comes to like not the dystopian futures, but when Firefly offers, you know, law and order versus the rascally we're going to live our own lives sort of types. You know, the rascally live their own lives types. They were always talking about, oh, it would be nice to eat sometime this month. Like,
yeah,
those things, that existence, we've never had a taste of that, really.
No, I've never. Look at us, we've never starved.
we're starving right now.
We're utterly worthless outside of this society.
Well, I think I'm fairly useful when push comes to shove.
What, as an artist?
Well, no, I've got a lot of other tangible skills, but I'll never get to test them in any other way other than leisure, like camping.
Yeah, I occupy space. That's my skill.
And well, not your only skill. You're a hell of a sidekick on camera.
I could act as ballast for a ship.
Ballast as a ship, a counterweight for seeing how much gold you have.
Yeah.
Just Alan laying across the scale, and then guys...
I can't believe this is my job.
I'm the counterweight.
I'm the counterweight.
I'm the boom arm counterweight. No, there's ways that you look at stories like this, it makes you think about yourself and what you could be doing right or wrong differently, or what you should keep doing the same.
Yeah.
It's a good mirror, because it really makes you ask the hard questions.
And I think...
You never really answered it. I said I'd be on the side of order. What about you?
I'd be on the side of order, but... boy.
Would I be militant about it? If it fell apart, I'd figure out a way to...
God, you know, I don't think there's an answer for this. Like, this movie asks a question that sci-fi has been asking for decades, and I don't really see any clear answer. I mean, it's your initial gut reaction. You know, we were kind of, anyone raised at any time said, go out and change the world because you can, and that's what, you know, you should be striving for, but I think very few of us do.
Well, it's not so much that very few of us do. It's just, you know, there's only so much room for figureheads in the world. And those spots are very few and far between, and they're hard to come by because, A, they're held down by either organizations that ensure that the power isn't, you know, open to the public, or B, you can only be first once. You know, you can't, there's no such thing as a country with 5 revolutionaries at the same time. It's one guy that's usually, you know, the figurehead. I guess the rarity would be the United States. They had, like, revolutionary leaders, but even then, you know, who's on the $1 bill? There's only enough space for a few people to really make those fundamental changes. You can help, and I think that's probably the best way to look at it is.
So basically, you're screwed.
Basically,
no matter what
just
side,
give it up.
What side you take, you're going to be miserable. The grass will always look greener on the other side. Yeah, you know, you could quit your job and run around with your buddies. In Firefly and Mal's case, you know, robbing banks, having a good time, but then being hungry for a month.
Hungry because you've robbed all the banks.
Because you can't get a legitimate job anymore.
Yeah, because everyone saw you robbing those banks and you're done, you know. So, yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, you know, and I guess that's the human condition. Maybe.
Sort of. I guess it's whoever deals with it the best that tends to thrive. And I think that's probably the best way to look at it. Is it's not about breaking the system or, you know, defying convention. It's just people that are able to make the best of a bad situation.
Do what you can.
Yeah, do what you can, and at the end of it all, make sure you take care of your own, make sure your family's nice and healthy, and then after that, it's all bonus, whatever you can do.
I suppose.
I don't think that's a bad way to live. How about you guys?
Bingo.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.